messages that I was getting for you while shuffling here is I feel like for some of you, well, I feel like more than half probably watching this, I do sense there's this energy about you where someone is a little bit, well, is self-serving, okay? I feel like there is a self-serving person circling around you, and you know, you have a good heart and you always try to help them in some way. And I feel the ways in which you are offering them help is not so much on the emotional front, but it could be more on the financial front, on the material front. Okay, you might cover for them when they're short. You might be the person that they always come to when they need something. So I see you giving and giving and giving so much of your resources. I don't feel this is like a person who's very, very close to you, like a family member or like a loved one. I feel like this might be an acquaintance. This might be a friend that you've known for, you know, a few years. And I do sense there is a cunning, self-serving energy about this person. And you give and give and give a lot of yourself. And you, even though you might be short on material resources, you give of yourself to this other person, because I feel like there is a legitimate, you know, weak spot within you that wants to help the other person. So I don't know in what capacity they are linked up with you. It could be co-workers, it could be like a friend. I feel like it might be more of a friend or somebody you are interested in, and I feel like they are taking this situation and they are taking you for granted. So it's really important to, you know, really think about who you are giving your resources to, because I feel like a lot of you might not have enough for yourself, and yet you're working so hard, going above and beyond to maintain this very one-sided type of a relationship. Okay, so just make sure, if that sounds familiar to you, pull back and make sure you have enough at your disposal before you can give it out, because we can't really help other people unless we are in a position where we are stable within ourselves. Okay, so it could be emotional support, it could be financial or material support. We can't really help other people get through their karmic lessons. They're supposed to get it through it on their own, and they're supposed to extract important lessons from it. And at the same time, we can't be in a position to help someone if we ourselves are not stable with our own foundation. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. On the other side of the coin, I feel like a lot of you might be spending very, very lavishly, okay? Um, that's what I'm sensing here. So it feels like, I feel like this is going to go two ways. A lot of you might be called upon to give out advice, give out counsel. And I feel for some of you, you are giving out counsel, and you're doing that for a lot of people. But I feel like the same lessons that, or the same advice that you're dishing out to other people are not the same advice that you yourself are incorporating into your own lives. Okay, so that already spells like a little bit of a double standard. So you want to be very careful if you are giving somebody advice, and for them to really take your advice and to really heed your advice, it means that the advice has to be sincere. It has to be something that has already been tried and done with good results. Okay, so don't just be in a position to give out advice. It's really important to incorporate all of these things into your own personal life as well, so that you can, you know, create the life that you want. Okay, so the just think of it as your life by the examples of how your actions, how you live, how you counsel other people. It should be a reflection of your own life. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. What I do feel, on the other hand, is you know, you're giving something out. You're giving a lot of resources, or you are giving out so freely that it might hurt you financially and materially. So just be very careful about that and learn to hold back a little bit. Okay, don't give too much of yourself to other people if you yourself are struggling. So let others try to get through things on their own, but at the same time, pull back your energy and take care of yourself first. Okay, is what I'm feeling here. I do sense there is a situation where I feel like it's very unbalanced, it's very one-sided, and I do feel that you are going to re-examine how you approach this relationship, why there is such a strong pull, why you feel like you have to dash in and help the other person every single time they're in a jam, or at least, having them contact you every time they're in a jam. So I feel like there is some turnaround regarding this situation, knowing that it's not completely healthy, knowing that the other person might be either taking advantage of it, or they are dashing in to ask for assistance, to ask for counsel, and to ask for help, because they know they can count on you. But, if the shoe were on the other foot, they wouldn't be there when you need them. So just be very careful about one-sidedness in relationships, and especially imbalances in relationships, okay? Something to keep in mind about. I do feel your financial situation, um, with a little bit of bookkeeping, with a little bit of like balancing the account sheet, is going to be very, very stable. But I feel like there's a little bit of a penchant for extravagance for this month, either on the financial, material, or on the counsel level. Okay, so rein back your energy a little bit. So let's go through your reading here. Let me see if there's anything else I'm sensing. I feel like there is a little bit of a money crunch, okay? It might be extravagant spending, paying people here and there to get some things done, and as a result of it, you might be in a little bit of a tough spot financially. But you might be scattering your resources across people rather than taking care of your own responsibilities first. Okay, so just be mindful about that energy. And I also feel the situation financially, materially, it's going to straighten itself out. I feel like by the end of the month, for others of you, by the 22nd or something like that, I feel like 20th, the 22nd, 23rd come in very strongly. So I do feel like towards the end of the month, the situation itself would sort out, okay? If you are working on a commission base, I do feel that's when, the flow of money starts up again, okay? If you're working on commission, if you're waiting on commission checks, if you're working on a client basis, I do feel like it's going to start to stabilize. And there's at least, like back pay is what I'm hearing, back pay coming through to give you what you already worked for. So I feel like a lot of you might be counting on that, might have been expecting like a big commission check or a big bonus. As a result, you might have overextended yourself financially, but then it's going to sort itself out. But this is an important lesson about, keeping the balance sheet, budgeting, and not overspending before you physically have the financial resources or whatever material resources in your hands. Okay, so this is about not projecting into the future, rather than work with what we currently have right now, rather than on banking into financial gains or windfalls coming through in the future. It's just something to be mindful about. So let's talk about your spread here. So first of all, we have the Three of Wands as well as the Nine of Wands. So both of these cards signify some type of a situation where you are waiting on something, okay? And it brings about excitement, but it also brings about nervousness. So coming out so early in the spread indicates to me that a lot of you might be awaiting some news, and the news might be a little bit conflictual. The news might bring about a sense of competition because of the wand energy. The wand energy indicates passion, drive, ambition, and fire. There might be a situation where you are trying to very hard to win over a client. You're trying to secure something. So this seems to me like it might be more on the work front, where you have all these projects and they're looking for contractors, for example, is what I'm feeling for a lot of you. Different organizations, different company, and different firms are looking for a contractor, or looking even for people to take on a specific role or a specific title within that company. And I feel that you're waiting for them to come in. You're trying to wait on to hear from them, like waiting on communication, or you're waiting for the opportunity to open up so that you can start applying. And like I said, when it first comes in, it seems very, very exciting, but I do feel what ends up happening is there's a lot of paperwork that piles up here with the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands usually indicates a situation where we have to like take a step back in order to recoup our strength, in order to fight another day. Okay, so a lot of you might be waiting for opportunities, and then when the opportunities come in, there are plenty of opportunities. As you can see, he's looking on the horizon, and there are like 5 ships sailing towards him, and he's ready. But I feel like there's an element of surprise here where the options that are coming in are a lot more than you initially anticipated. And as a result of it, you might be inundated with a lot of work. You might have to take a step back in order to reassess what needs to do first. Like, the whole triage system. What's important? What do I need to take care of now? Okay. I feel for a lot of you, this might be, waiting on news based on some type of a financial offer in which you have to like customize yourself, in which you have to like um, I guess like with different firms, you have to play up certain assets about yourself, and then others, you have to downplay certain assets about yourself. Okay, so if they're looking for somebody who's a little bit more of a conformist, for example, you have to play up the strength that you are very, very much a team player and you follow the rules. Whereas another firm, like a think tank, they might be looking for somebody who's a little bit more of the creative type. So you might have to play up the fact that you're innovative, you're a very carefree spirit, for example. So I definitely feel this whole process of going back and forth and trying to downplay or emphasize, downplay or either to downplay or emphasize certain aspects, certain facets of yourself. You might be wondering, which job or which opportunity is even right for me. So I definitely feel like some situation here where you're going to have to juggle different aspects of yourself in order to sell yourself in a very favorable light, okay? At the same time, what I'm feeling is there might be some type of long-standing situation where you're waiting for results, you're waiting for the money, the resources to come through, and you're waiting very, very diligently, and you're hoping that there's a lot of things that were sent out, like either communication, and you're waiting for it to come through. And I do feel like towards the last part of the month, it's going to get resolved for this month. I do feel that, okay? There will be some communication. There will be the contact that you're hoping for. So I do feel it coming through. And I do sense like, once again, that 20th time frame is when it's going to come through for you and it will resolve itself. In terms of your financial situation, we have the 3 of Pentacles as well as the 8 of Pentacles. So let's talk about this 8 of Pentacles first. This is somebody who is working at their job very diligently, and they are basically very, very good at what they do, okay? Through the process of trial and error, through the process of like having worked there, having gained seniority, you know what you're doing. In the work environment, you're pretty much in the flow of things, okay? I feel a lot of energies where a lot of you might be very, very much focused on the work front. You're working very diligently to the point where you might not be able to socialize too much on the work front. You might just want to be left alone rather than socializing, collaborating with other people. Both of these cards appear in conjunction to one another. Indicates to me that, let's put this into perspective here. You're here working on your own and you're able to create all these things. And it seems like you're doing it in a very expedient manner, meaning you're better off on your own, and you're a fire sign. So of course, fire sign indicates drive, ambition, passion. So if people leave you alone, granted that you love your job, you're going to do it very, very well without minimal supervision, without minimal input from other people, because you know what you're doing. You know how to get the end results, okay? At the same time, I do feel that, there's an energy here with both of these cards appearing in conjunction to one another. It indicates to me like possibly too many cooks spoil the broth, okay? So it's like other people are in your environment and there might be discussions, there might be a lot of talk without any type of action to follow through. So I do feel that both of these cards suggest to me on the financial front, you might be in a position where you are going to have to collaborate with other people. But the information that they give you, the counsel that they give you even, might not be what's appropriate for your working style, for your methodologies, for your technique, or for the worker that you are. So I do sense a little bit of that coming through. What I'm also feeling is we are transitioning from an Eight of Pentacles to the Three of Pentacles, meaning there might be a financial shortage that you need to anticipate for, okay? That you might need to once again balance the checkbook, once again look over your expenditures and to try to find ways to smooth things out. Both of these cards are heavily work related as well, so I do feel it is something coming through very, very strongly for this month for a lot of you. And I do sense as well that going out socializing, especially on the work front, it might also drain your resources as well. If you do it too much, if you have a tendency to do it too much, you will start to feel the pinch. But I do feel it's a very collaborative, very cooperative environment, okay, in the work front. So it would be best for you to just rein in the expenditure, but also reassess, look over, look over the whole bookkeeping process just to see where the expenditures are actually going, okay? And I got a similar message for Sagittarius as well. A lot of it has to do with like bookkeeping, getting down, sitting down and really looking through the numbers. Numbers crunching is what I'm feeling. It's going to be very beneficial for you. Now, in terms of your emotional life, we do have the Hangman as well as the Ten of Cups. So the Hangman is a situation where we are waiting in suspension for something, okay? This is also a card about sacrifice. It's also a card about looking at a situation from a different perspective. All of these things are actually very, very noble, very good things that we have to take a step back every once in a while to re-examine a situation. The Ten of Cups usually indicates to me it's the completion. It's also a situation where we are at the apex of emotional happiness, satisfaction, joy, and contentment, okay? In appearing together, it indicates to me this is a family card. This is a family card right here. And a lot of you might be anticipating either some shifts, some movement, some changes within the family unit. This could be the family that you grew up in, or the family that you have created for yourself, or the future family that you are hoping to create for yourself. Both of these things indicates to me that, especially in terms of like dealing with a family member, there might be situations where you are not seeing eye to eye on, either family planning, how to create harmony within the family, or there might be a lot of concessions that you are making in order to secure a home, in order to stabilize the family life, okay? So what I feel is, first of all, there might be a lot of expenditures in the home front, things that needs to be fixed, children being added to the family, where we have to rather than saving up for that dream vacation or that luxury car, for example, we have to put the money away in the college fund for the kids. So I definitely see some changes, some new addition or subtraction from within the family unit is going to affect you when it comes to long-term planning for certain aspects of your life. For others of you, there might be a situation where you're waiting on contact from a family member. You're waiting on, what you need to do in order to have a family, or to start a family. So what I feel is, for a lot of you, you might be in a position currently at work where, the job itself is fine, but you feel like you need to branch out. You feel like you've already learned all there is to learn, all the skills that you need at this current job. So when you're at work, there's this tremendous workflow. It feels almost as if you're in the zone. You know exactly what you're doing. And that usually indicates to me, when someone is in the zone at the work front, it means that they've already learned everything that they need to know to do their job well. And I usually advise people, when you are no longer learning from your environment, when you're no longer learning from your job, it is really important to branch out and look elsewhere, okay? So I feel a lot of you might be in that predicament. You're looking for more opportunities for growth, for expansion, but to also increase your income, mainly because there is some situation here where you're either thinking about, what do I want my family life to be? There might be thoughts or talks with your significant others about children. There might be as well taking in, elderly parents, for example, selling a house, moving house because you want to be in an area that is more conducive for raising a family. So these are major issues. The female Aries are very, very independent. So I feel like all of these things, even though you might be like a working woman, a career woman, and you're thinking about having children, for example, or adding more people into the family unit or taking on elderly parents, I definitely feel like you're looking for opportunities to expand and to climb up that career ladder, like move up vertically or even laterally, because you feel like I've already learned everything there is. So there might be positions that open up within the same company, within the same department. And I feel like you might have already sent out these requests to see whether or not you're going to be able to advance to the next level. You might send out job applications and you're waiting patiently and you feel like I've got this in the bag. And I do feel that it's going to give you very good results, okay? Because you have some very strong cards here that indicate a lot of success and a lot of like growth, expansion, and movement. But I feel like upward mobility where you are going to be put in a new position, possibly to manage others, or at least there's like an increase in income coming through by the end of the month, okay? So what's coming through next here is we have the Four of Wands and the Queen of Swords. The Four of Wands is a very, very good card. It usually indicates a very stable home environment. It also indicates like the marriage card, okay? So a lot of you might be thinking, once again, about the home environment, about taking relationships to the next level. And potentially this deals with weddings, proposals, and things like that. You might be invited to a wedding. You might be in the midst of somebody getting married. You yourself can get a proposal as well. For those of you who are currently dealing with an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, this person might be a romantic partner. I feel very, very strongly both of these cards is the happy home and marriage card linked up with a court card, which indicates to me there might be somebody in your midst. Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra, if you are dating this person, and this can be their sun, moon, or rising. If you are dating this person, I definitely feel there's strong inclination here for something, taking the relationship to the next level, or talks about children, talks about marriage, talks about living together. So I feel like some major milestone, if you're dating an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, some major discussions about an important milestone in your relationship is going to be breached for this month. And I do feel that it's going to be very, very good, very splendid for the direction of the relationship. So if you feel like, in the past, you might have like had to expend a lot of money in order to take care of things, for example, I feel like this is a card about joining incomes together. And as a result of it, I feel like there might be that situation where I feel income coming through. So, like I mentioned earlier, towards the 20th or something, I feel like the money comes through. So this could also be like a purely personal partnership where both people pool their resources together. They're living together. They might be pulling their resources together, and as a result, it's going to help you greatly. So I do feel this is a very good union altogether. For those of you waiting for work, I definitely feel an uptick in your financial situation. That's going to allow you as well to increase your income generating potential. But I do feel it coming through very, very strongly, like after the 20th of this month, okay? For others of you who has a family member that you're dealing with, okay? And this is an air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. If this is not a romantic partner, this might be somebody in your family that you are heavily dealing with right now. And there might be some talks, discussions about housing situation. There might also be like a reunion somehow. If like it's a family member, there might be some type of a get together, because like geographical distance between you and this person, because based on the background, the location of where you live versus where they live, okay, you're the wands energy, the fire energy, where they live, I feel like there might be a geographical distance, and I see people, two people coming together. So this indicates to me as well, possibly a reunion, possibly some discussions, possibly an air sign coming into your home environment, okay, either as a guest or as a long-term guest. So there's this really beautiful energy about two people from two separate worlds almost colliding and coming back together. So I feel like this might be either a new person or an old person coming new person or an old person coming back in that you have a very, very strong connection with. And I feel more of an intellectual connection where you might have similar life experiences. You know, like fire signs and air signs make a very, very dynamic pair because you spark off each other very nicely. And I do sense like in this situation, you might have a lot of common background, common life story, like common life stories that you share. And I do feel this is somebody that is going to be able to help you, to give counsel, to help you somewhat. I feel like they're coming through and they're able to help you either refine your resume or like give you advice as to where, if you are looking for work, if you're looking for advice about what to do with a property, if you're looking for practical life advice, if you're looking for like where to do that job search to restart or jumpstart your career. I do feel they're coming in that capacity. Okay, now in terms of your advice, what we have here is the Two of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and the King of Swords. So what I'm sensing here is I feel like this might be your energy. So this is an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, but I feel like for some reason I'm getting this is more your energy. So going back to what I mentioned earlier about, the lifestyle choices that we make, okay? I feel like there might be a little bit of a, it's sort of like giving a lot more out and not having enough for yourself, okay? So I want you to really think about, I feel like this card embodies, someone who is very, very financially abundant, okay? And for somebody to be financially abundant, it just means, they make a lot of money. It doesn't really vouch for anything else that is going on in their lives, okay? So separating material success from happiness, from all these other intangible things that you have going on in your life. Money is a means to an end. And if we are a slave to money, we're not going to be able to achieve the quality of life that we want and to be able to enjoy the simple things in life, okay? Such as like being with family, being with friends, taking care of family and friends, or even like enjoying the good physical or even emotional and mental health that we're supposed to have. So what I feel is this is your energy where you are very, very abundant. You are very nurturing. You are very caring. And I feel that your friends, your family, everyone knows this about you. And you project this air that no matter whatever else is going in your life, you're always going to be there for other people. Other people might take this situation for granted and they feel like, well, she or he is always you, the Aries. You are always projecting this air to other people, so they feel like, oh, you might always have enough. So they feel like it's okay for them to come and mooch off you. So just be very careful about where you draw the lines and whom you are doing this with, and whether or not your efforts are going to be reciprocated, okay? We don't need to do things in order to prove anything to anybody. So I feel like if you're going above and beyond, and every time somebody needs something from you and you're just like, I'm going to give and give and give of myself, but if it's not being reciprocated, then it's not fair. If it's not being reciprocated in the manner that you'd like, then you are going to have to like draw boundaries with certain people. Okay, so just be very mindful about that. What I do feel here is I do sense there's for a lot of you there might be a crossroads in a major relationship in your life, okay? I feel like it's playing out like this. We have the Two of Cups, which indicates a very strong soulmate karmic connection, okay? The Two of Cups is a very reciprocal type of an energy. it's a very, very reciprocal union of two people who care about one another, and they take care of one another through thick and thin. So it's telling you to really re-examine the relationships in your lives that are very balanced, that are very foolproof, that are very good for you. Which relationships you have in your life are like this. And it's also forcing you as well to examine these two significant people in your life. A lot of you might have an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and you're asked, so in whatever capacity this significant person is in your life, there's like an equivalent energy of an air sign. So this is Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And they're telling you basically which relationship is reciprocal. So if the earth sign is a friend, there's like an equivalent like air sign that is also a friend, and they're asking you to like juxtapose these two people and to figure out for yourself which relationship is, reciprocal, who's reciprocating all of these things for you, and who is also bringing in a lot of stress, or which relationship has always been very, very one-sided. So you want to be very careful about this. This is a really good month to reassess important relationships, like interpersonal relationships, and to figure out where you stand with other people and whether or not you're putting in energy, effort, material resources in the wrong people, in the wrong channels. If it is, then you want to identify it early on and to realize what you need to do in order to either fix this relationship or rebalance it in a way that makes it manageable for you, so you're not the one that is constantly putting in the effort and not getting things reciprocated for you. Okay, so I do feel this could be family members, this could be friends. Both of these people could be family members, could be friends, could be even love romantic partners, but it's telling you to re-examine these two people because they have the same standing in your life. And one of them, and I can't tell which one honestly based on the way these cards are coming out, one of them is they both seem to be very trustworthy, but you have to re-examine where you stand with them and who has been around and who has not. Okay, so that's your general reading. I'm going to go into the love reading and see if those two characters come back for you in the love front. Okay, so I've shuffled these cards a lot off screen, so I'm just going to do a quick shuffle and then we'll get into your cards. Okay, so what's going on for Aries for love and relationships? Okay, and I'm going to pull out one more card for the King of Wands. I feel like that's your energy here. Okay. So the Seven of Swords have actually fallen out a lot for a lot of people. So I'm going to go talk about this one by one, and then we'll look at the cards that accompany the main cards, okay? So let me organize it. Okay, so let's look at the past position. We have the Four of Cups, and the Four of Cups indicates like basically choices that are present for you. And the choices themselves are actually very, very good. They're asking you to try something new. They're asking you to basically step out of your usual type and to explore and to give people a chance. Okay, a lot of you might have someone in your mind that you're waiting to get some type of news from. the Ace of Cups coupled with the Four of Cups indicates to me that it is a lot of offers coming through that has a lot of potential. But I do feel that a lot of you might have like a big crush, where you are preoccupied with a very specific person that is in your life right now. So even though these other options are coming through for you, you're just like pining over or thinking about that one person and their offer, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and you're keeping yourself a little bit in like limbo, wanting that perfect person, okay, and ruminating over what the situation would be like if they only came around. So I definitely feel there's a lot of a dreaminess associated with it, wanting that grand love, wanting that grand gesture from another person, and ruminating and thinking and pining over a situation in the past. And there's an element of fantasy here where you want that one thing and nothing else. You want that one person and nothing else. And in your mind, it's almost like, this is the cup that you're thinking about. And it shows up here with the Ace of Cups, which means you like the other person a lot. And it's almost like they are a heroic figure in your life. And as a result of it, you can't really shake the memories of it, okay? So this is something happening in the past, which brings us into the present environment. The present situation here is the Eight of Swords as well as the Page of Cups. So the Eight of Swords, excuse me, indicates a situation where we're not really sure where to go. We don't have all the information just yet to make a move, and we're also like, due to lack of access to information, she's like blindfolded, she's trapped, and she's surrounded by these swords, and she doesn't really want to get hurt. She might be hesitant, like you might be hesitant about entering new relationships. You might be hesitant about, getting yourself out from this situation because you are afraid of like not knowing where to turn, not knowing how to tread lightly so that you don't accidentally cut yourself. So I feel like for a lot of you, it's kind of like once burned, twice shy. You're hesitant about starting new relationship, especially for all of you singles, okay? So I definitely feel there is an offer here on the table. And for some reason, I feel almost like you have a friend in your midst who is giving you an offer. So you might be, I'm feeling a very strong friend vibe, okay? Because the Page of Cups usually indicates like a gesture for friendship. It's like some type of a really warm, nice communication. And as a result of it, you might be afraid to, you might like the person, you might be afraid to jump right into it because you might not want to ruin the friendship, okay? On the other hand, I feel like a lot of you have you might meet somebody who's very different from you. I keep feeling geographical like distance, geographical like the location might be different. They might be further away. They might be soliciting you for a date, for friendship, for some type of offer, because we do have some major offers coming through and they're panning out quite nicely. So it indicates to me that you might have somebody that you're treading very carefully with, and that's actually very unlike you, Aries. So I'm actually surprised to see this, but I feel as if there are a lot of considerations, okay? So on the one hand, you might be telling yourself almost like, I don't really know yet, I need to take my time. So I feel like taking your time is definitely fine. I feel like there might be distance between the two of you and it's really hard to work things out logistically. And rather than letting the relationship pan out, I feel that you're projecting so far into the future and you're just like, yeah, but they live so far away. I have mortgage here, I have children here, I have family here, and I have a job here, so I might not be able to, move on from where I am to be where they are, and logistically this would never work. So you're holding yourself back while the other person is like it's like really pursuing you. So I feel like this is prevalent for a lot of single Aries who have recently met somebody but are not dating seriously just yet. I feel like you might have had someone that just entered your life. You didn't think much of it. You thought, it was just going to be fun and short term, but I do feel you are starting to like somebody. You're scared to make that leap of faith. You're scared to really venture out. And there's also like a lot of differences between you and the other person where you feel as if you might not be able to either fully commit to them, or you might feel like logistically it's going to be really difficult to somehow manage the responsibilities associated with this partnership, okay? So what you're thinking about here is I pulled out the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles, first of all, indicates some type of a family generational type of wealth, okay? So this can be like assets. This can be like financial obligations, financial abundance as well. So you are thinking about financially how you're going to build a future, what you need to do in order to not only procure resources for yourself, but for the people that you love, how to build up that home, how to create something with another person. Because I feel like in the past you might have been very, very independent, and you might have been like, a one-man show where you came and went as you pleased. And now you're going to have to work together with a unit, and a lot of people are relying on you. So this could be, having children, having elderly parents as well being incorporated into the household. A lot of you might be in a situation where responsibilities are piling up here with the Ten of Wands via child caring or caring for somebody elderly. And as a result of it, you're trying to figure out how this is going to affect your main relationship, or how this is going to affect your dating life, what you have to do differently, and how you need to like devote your resources and your finances in order to secure not only a good family life, but also a good like love, romance type of a stable relationship. A lot of you are your energy is very, very serious for this month, Aries. You're thinking long term. You're thinking about longevity, and you're trying to find the people not only complement you, that are not only fun and exciting, where there's a lot of chemistry. You're looking for long-term commitment. You're looking for longevity. And a lot of you have like, family planning on the mind, where you are looking for more serious romantic partners, okay? The other cards I pulled out here is the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles usually indicates to me that I feel like financially, I feel like finances is really, affecting your ability to date. This can be, running into a series in the past, running into a series of people who are very financially unstable or financially kind of reckless, and they affect you negatively as well. So their karma becomes your karma. And right now you're very weary about, getting involved in that situation again. You've learned from the past, and you're looking for someone who's stable, not because you care about finances. You just want someone who thinks ahead, who's a little bit more secure, who's a little bit more stable, who's definitely a lot more reliable. So you're taking on a very serious air for this month. In terms of the foundation here, we do have the Ten of Wands. Once again, it is a card about a lot of responsibilities. There are a lot of responsibilities imposed upon you from your external environment, either via work, via family, via other obligations. And as a result of it, I feel that, you have dreams, aspirations for a lot of you to travel, to really start over in your love life, or to really re-inject some fun, excitement, and passion into your love life. And especially for those of you who are coupled, there's a lot of responsibility either at work or in the home environment front that's preventing you from really, expressing love, expressing romance, or at least, seeking alone time with your romantic partner. So make sure you take care of this, and make sure you communicate in a way where you both are on board about, trying to minimize the workload so that your partner does not feel neglected, okay? In terms of what's coming in, once again, I mentioned that a lot of you are taking more of a serious air for this month, which I feel is quite interesting. So you're coming out, your energy is coming out here as the King of Wands. And the King of Wands is basically for the court cards, at least, in the suit of Wands, it's like somebody who is very emotionally controlled, okay? They assess a situation very, very thoroughly before they jump in. And they are also very good at, figuring people out, reading people. They're very loving, very forgiving, but they actually know what somebody's about. You sum up people very well. So I do feel that for this month, this is the energy that you're projecting. You're not going to get yourself in sticky situations. I feel like the temptation might be there to date somebody new who's potentially very exciting, but I do sense that you might not want to put yourself in that situation where you're dating recklessly, or you're dating people that you know are not good for you. You're kind of like, you've got your eyes out for people who are a little bit more serious, who's a little bit more sincere and honest about their level of commitment to you. So you are taking a step back, not letting people taking advantage of you, and also taking a step back to see like where you stand with other people and whether the right person is going to reciprocate for you, okay? For others, especially male and females who are in committed relationships, I'm going to say that there's some strong, I'm getting very, very strong indicators of like new additions coming into the family, either via pregnancy, anticipating a birth of a child, bringing other people into the family. I feel like elderly relatives, elderly father figures especially, coming into the household, and it's kind of like creating a big burden within the family unit. But I do feel you are going to sail over this and you're going to be able to handle it just fine. But I do sense there's something like that cramping the communication between you and another partner. What I'm also feeling is for you singles, a lot of you have many proposals that have come in the past, possibly from a water sign. So this is Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And I feel that you are assessing this situation. You might also be in one relationship. So this is going to apply to a small minority. You might have one relationship and then there's another very, very warm-hearted person that's asking you that's showing affection, showing interest to you. But you're not going to move in that direction mainly because you feel like you are already in one and you're not going to step out of that relationship. There's some temptation here, but I definitely feel that you're going to do the right thing. You're going to, there's a difference here between, taking the relationship very, very seriously and not straying from it, or letting the baggage down, laying it down, and then moving on with your life in a brand new direction, okay? So overall, it does look very, very good for romantic love prospects, but I do feel something has recently come in for a lot of you. In the past, someone might have made an offer to you, possibly to go on a date. You might have hesitated, but I do feel this is the month in which you are acting on it, okay? So overall, very, very good month for love and relationship. Finances, try to curb spending if you can, okay? And don't let other people come back in to continuously ask for financial and material assistance if they're not going to reciprocate as well, okay? So take care of yourself, Aries. If you like a private reading, please contact me at temperatestar@gmail.com, or you can click on the description box for my website it's below the video. And I'll be back for the mid-month reading. Also, I put up a link for the donation box. If the reading has been helpful to you and you want to contribute, I would appreciate it. The information is all below in the description box, and I will see you for the mid-month reading. Take care. Bye-bye.